Hello and welcome to another episode of Messy Magic. I am your host, Dee Guy, and if you're new around here, this podcast is all about, well, it's kind of evolving, to be honest. It's mainly about real life and me bringing you snippets from my everyday life, but more and more it's also becoming tips and tricks and habits to introduce into everyday life to bring more fullness, more vibrancy, more aliveness to your life, because that's what I'm experiencing and that's what I'm learning about, and so that's kind of what I'm sharing. Today was, well, most episodes actually are completely unplanned. Today is completely off the cuff. I'm actually out for a walk in a local nature reserve, which is one of my favourite things to do. I try and do this as many mornings as possible after I drop my kiddo off to preschool. And more I've been trying to take these walks just in silence and kind of just using it as a reset for my system, rather than recording a magical morning practice, which if you're one of the original listeners, you might know a little bit about. But that's a practice that I, up until recently, was doing every day. I've done 330 roughly now. Well worth listening to that episode way back at the start. If you're curious, I do feel like it's been a bit of a life changer over the past 12 months. But yeah, so anyway, I've been sort of more and more trying to take these walks in silence, or at least just paying attention to what's going on around me. But this morning, I don't know, I just felt called to pop in and say hello. There's some beautiful sounds around me. And that was one of the things I thought you might like to listen into. But now that I'm talking, there's actually not that many sounds, so maybe it's my voice that scared them away. But I've been hearing birds. You might be able to hear cicadas. You can probably hear my footsteps, maybe. I'm sure you can hear me puffing a little bit as I walk. And through the trees is also a beach. So occasionally we get a bit of a whoosh as a wave comes in. It's really beautiful. One thing that I've been dabbling in lately, which I really recommend, if you... it's useful for so many things, but I find it really helpful to get back in touch with my senses, and therefore with my body, and therefore with the present moment, is experimenting with forest bathing. And I found this meditation on Insight Timer, which is really good. I'll link it in the show notes of this episode if you want to check it out. And I've also been looking at, or thinking about, running like local forest bathing guided sessions, because I think it is so healing just to get out into nature and use your senses and kind of observe. Ooh, what's going on around you? That's a crab, little tiny crab on the path. To use your ears and your eyes and just kind of get right back into your body and notice what's going on around you, and just brings so much more colour to life. And I know that it might sound really indulgent and not everyone has time to do these kinds of things, but I really think that we have to take it on ourselves to make time for what's important to us, because time is like the only thing that you can't get any more of. Like once time is gone, it's gone. And I think that it's really important that we spend our time in ways that feel really important to us. And of course, while balancing it with reality and everyday life, which must go on. We can't all live in a dreamland, but we can find ways to treat ourselves, indulge in what we love in life. Speaking of what we love in life, if you want to learn more about what you love in life, the last episode I did about self-care is all about that. And I recorded that on Valentine's Day as a bit of a gift to my listeners, and there's a couple of prompts in there and ways to learn more about what you love and then spend time doing that. And if you can build it into your daily routine, even better. I'm almost at the end of the path, and where I come over this rise, there's a boat now, but you might be able to hear some waves. You can probably hear the boat now, that intrusive sound. But yeah, it is. I feel so fortunate to have access to this area. It's so beautiful. The greens are iridescent. There's this incredible. The water is so clear at the moment. It's so clear. It looks like something out of a postcard. And it's such a beautiful, calming place to be, even if it's just for 5 minutes. So I hope you're enjoying these sounds of nature as much as I am. I know this is a bit of a random episode today, but yeah, I just wanted to pop in and say hello and bring a snippet from my life to yours today. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you get the new episodes. And if you are liking the podcast, I'd be so honoured if you would leave me a rating and or a review. That would be amazing. I'd love to hear about it. So yeah, hope you have a magical day. I'll talk to you soon.